Welcome to championship week of League Name TBD. I'm your host, Ben Schmidtke. With me, as always, you have Jake Vossler and Jason Nygren. And congratulations, Jason, on making it to the championship. Had a pretty easy schedule getting yourself there. So,
That's an understatement. Max completely, I feel bad that he completely crapped the bed this week. He had 0 touchdowns from any of his players.
Max had the lowest scoring points of everybody in the league, including Alex, by 0.1 points. So Max would have lost to anyone.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah. Jude would have beat anyone. And then you would have taken fourth,
I think. Yeah.
Yep. Jake would have beat you this week as well.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, didn't.
Yeah. You just started on the wrong side of the bracket, Jake. Had you been the 5 seed, you still would have lost to Phil. But anywho, I digress. We're going into week 13 or week 16 now. Week 16 now. Jason and Jude are facing up for the championship. The 1 and 2 seed. Jason will get that 1 point advantage as always. And then it's Max and myself going for third place. 3 seed versus 5 seed. So I get the 1 point advantage there. Taking just a quick look at the matchup between you guys, we'll go over matchups and whatnot, and then we'll get into what you guys are actually here for, wanting to see the draft order. So as it stands, Jason is currently sitting with a huge lead as far as projections go.
That'll go away very quickly once some of the injury reports come out later in the week and we see who's sitting and starting. But
yeah, I think come Thursday morning we'll have a better idea as to what this actually looks like. Jude's team, his running back situation isn't really good at this moment. For some reason, Damian Williams is where projected to come back this week.
It's kind of that's up in the air right now if he's going to end up playing or not. If he does, then it's obviously you're going to have time splitting between the two of them, and then there's a question of if James Conner is going to come back and play for Pittsburgh this week.
Yeah. Well, no matter who starts between Ware or Williams, Jude has both, so he can plug and play whichever one he wants. So that's not an issue. And then, as you said about Jalen Samuels, if Connor's looking to come back to be the head guy, Connor's going to get that playing time. So you'll probably see somebody like
DJ Moore.
Yeah, you'll see DJ Moore tossed in that flex position. Not too bad. I don't know. I think it's going to be a pretty decent coin flip between you two guys. I know you're saying that you're going to get completely crushed, but it all depends on Seattle. It's honestly, It's always going to be Kansas City. What are they going to do?
Which Seattle has had some good defensive efforts at home this year. They always play well in Seattle in that stadium. They got a great fan base. They're very loud there for them. And so I don't think it's a likely chance. I think there's a chance that they play good defense for at least part of that game, which could limit the scoring. But there's also a chance Kansas City goes off for 4 touchdowns in the first 10 minutes. So,
well, Seattle has only given up at most 3 touchdowns week 1. Other than that, they've given up multiple 2-week touchdowns and then 5 1-week touchdowns. So in the realm of all possibilities, Patrick Mahomes might only get 2 touchdowns again. It seems to be pretty consistent, but he's definitely good enough to get that 3 or 4 spot. It just depends on, like you said, how Seattle wants to play.
I think the weather in Seattle is going to matter too. December can be real wet and cold, and obviously that favors the running game over the passing game. The 12th man can't be overlooked either. That's real life. They play so much better at home, and not that the Vikings offense is anything, but they hold Kirk Cousins to next to nothing, and they play well there. I don't know. I think that, and I think that Kansas City has looked a little vulnerable, really. I think people are kind of, and that's like an NFL wide trend. I think that defenses are catching up with these high powered offenses. You've seen the last 2-3 weeks, the Saints, the Rams, and the Chiefs look pedestrian compared to the way they started the season.
What did I give up to get Drew Brees from you, Jake? Because I am just slapping myself for making that trade because Tom Brady has outscored Drew Brees the last 2 weeks.
I think you still came out all right, Ben. Just you wouldn't have Michael Thomas without that. So
that's fair.
Speaking of, just not to throw salt in the wound, but after I know many people, including Max, told me it was the worst trade I could have made, Evans and Michelle have scored 113 points since the trade. Michael Thomas has scored, I believe, it's like 52 or 53 points since week 11.
So Michelle has since when?
Since we traded right before week 11.
Okay. Yeah.
This is the get right week, Ben. This is it.
Yeah. Well, hey, if
road Big Ben at home, he's gonna throw a few picks, give Breeze a short field, a few touchdowns to Michael Thomas.
Hey,
this is the get right week.
Third place is still $50, so I would be just fine with that. I would not bat an eye.
Speaking of weather in Seattle, it is supposed to rain Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. All weekend long, it's going to be raining and somewhere in the probably mid to low 40s.
That sounds
all
awful.
Weekend. So this looks like weather may not be great there in Seattle, which sloppy football is just always a question mark. So it'll be fun on Sunday night. It'll probably be ridiculously nerve-wracking as I watch the entire Kansas City Chiefs offense versus Chris Carson, but be fun.
As inflappable as Patrick Mahomes has looked at times this year, I think the biggest tell on whether or not he's for real, and he may well be for real, but the biggest tell is going to be now.
Yeah.
The last couple of games this season, let's lock up that number 1 seed and then into the playoffs. If they falter, if they lose one more, they could be the 5th seed.
Yeah.
Because the Chargers have the tiebreaker now. And the Chiefs have the tiebreaker with the divisional record, but the Chargers are tied on record. So if the Chiefs slip up, all of a sudden they're playing wild card weekend and have to go away every single game. That's some pressure.
Jason, fun fact for you as an Aaron Rodgers owner.
Oh, I don't want to hear it. Go ahead.
In a league that both Jake and I are in, I sat Aaron Rodgers in a 2-quarterback system league.
That's probably the right choice for you too.
It was.
Yep, both. Who did you start? Kirk Cousins and Josh Allen both outscored.
Oh, Josh Allen
this week.
Yeah.
Those are easy choices.
Yeah, but anywho, so this week I don't know. I feel like it's way too early to say who I think is going to be victorious in this, knowing that it's supposed to rain in Seattle and just be gross. I mean, that's got to give Jason the upper hand as far as just offensive production or the lack thereof from Kansas City, if they choose to go with that run game. But even at that point, I mean, Patrick Mahomes can run the ball if he drops back, doesn't like something, he can take off just as good as anybody else. He just doesn't have to because he's been able to throw every single time. So I don't know. I mean, I'm Team Jude, so I want Jude to win. I want Jason to lose.
I think Jason's gonna win.
I want Jason to lose.
The one thing that I am worried about is that everyone has kind of started to hint at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers talked after the game. My groin felt a little tight during the second half of that game against the Bears. I don't know. I want to play, but it's an injury. I kind of am starting to get a little bit worried that they might just, once they get to the end of the week, just decide to shut him down for the year. Doesn't matter. They've invested what, like $150 million in the next few years in the guy. They don't want to have something happen with his knee or anything going forward that's going to cause issue with him. I think there is a slight chance that he doesn't play again in 2018, and if that's the case,
do you have to roll out Jameis Winston?
I have to roll out Winston against Dallas, which is an awful matchup in Dallas. Like that's atrocious. Like that changes it for me. Like I've got to go Jameis Winston, and then
you got like a 2% chance if you have to roll out Jameis Winston. Ugh.
That's my fear, is that if I have to go Jameis Winston and then I'm sitting there having to count on DeShone Kizer to get Devontae Adams the ball consistently, or I'm hoping for Odell to make a miraculous comeback and play this weekend, or I'm starting Chris Carson against the Bears or Matt Breida. So,
yeah, that would not be fun to watch.
Yeah,
but,
I think Sony Michel, toss him, or
I guess that's probably who I'd play in my flex.
Toss Evans back up into the wide receiver slot and put Michel at your flex.
Oh, it gets bad really quick if Rodgers doesn't play. So I think that is almost it's on the level of as importance of the rain in Seattle and the health of Aaron Rodgers' groin are equally important in my playoff matchup this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gross.
Yep.
Yeah. But I want to see that $10 come back and bite Jason in the butt. So I'm Team Jude.
I'm really hoping James Conner comes back and plays, and that Spencer Ware comes and cuts off enough value from both he and Damian Williams to make them both not elite plays.
Yes.
And so that's my hope. But I don't know if I'm going to get my wish. I totally deserve it if I lose to Damian Williams and Jalen Samuels, though. It is completely my own fault.
Amen.
Yep. You won't have any pity from anyone.
No.
So here we go. Okay. So I mean, Jason wants to win. He's scared that he won't. Jake is Team Jason. I'm Team Jude. Let's move on to myself versus Max. So, I mean, doesn't look like there's a lot of injury questions. AP's questionable, I guess it looks like, for Max. Aside from that, my starting lineup is healthy. I can't really fudge my lineup at all because everybody's hurt or on the IR, or they're just a lot worse than the options that I have. So what you see for me is what you're going to get. Max can do some tinkering if he chooses to do so, but I don't know what he would do to make his lineup any better. Maybe toss out Frank Gore, who's, rushing for like 7 yards a carry or something like that.
He's done for the year.
Yeah, he's not playing.
So I wouldn't play him.
Well, maybe he should then.
I mean, he might score as many points as AP, but he won't score more.
Yeah.
I do feel like this is a classic Ben team coming down the stretch where at the start of the season you have lots of depth and you have options to put in your lineup, and then come the end of playoffs, you're either injured or you've traded away all your depth to leverage it into your starting lineup, and you have no options, and you're just fingers crossed banking on the guys and studs that you paid for. So this is like a classic Ben team. Absolutely. So I kind of like it. You're playing within your brand.
My I mean, like, I lost last week, but my switching and putting Gus Edwards back into my lineup was definitely the right choice.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I tinkered with that flex position last week probably 6 or 7 times, going between Smith, Hooper, and
I hate all Ravens running backs from now on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I stand by that decision.
Playing Dixon?
That game script, Dallas and Indianapolis, that game script should have been Indianapolis running game shut down entirely. Marlon Mack is irrelevant. Nobody saw him going off for 130 and 2. Nobody.
Jake, do you want to elaborate to Jason a little bit more so he understands what you're talking about?
I sat Marlon Mack in the league that I run I had a great Thursday. I had the Mike Williams, Phillip Rivers stack.
Oh,
so I jumped out to a huge lead. Ben came storming back with DeAndre Hopkins on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like I needed to have an upside play. Kenneth Dixon had looked pretty darn good in his limited role. He was playing the Buck Allen role. That's those goal line touches. I figured if one of those two is going to get in the end zone, more than likely that's Kenneth Dixon, because the game script should have been a lot of Naheem Hines, because those those linebackers in Dallas are just crazy good.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody saw Marlon Mack going off for 130 and 2. And even with that terrible, terrible, god-awful decision, I still should have beat Ben.
Yes.
If Nick Mullins didn't suck and could hit George Kittle, I would have won. And I'm a little bit bitter about it, but I'll get over it.
Goes from a 30-point week to a 6.5-point week.
Well, Mullins missed him on a 60-yard touchdown.
Did he?
He was wide open.
Yeah.
He was wide open, walk-in, 60-yard touchdown, and Mullins is terrible.
Ick.
Yep.
All right, I'm done talking about that.
but you digress.
I'm going to watch Ben get beat by 30, 40 this week.
Gosh, it's not even going to be fun.
Maybe Gurley won't play, then you only lose by 10.
So, Jason, here's the team I'm going up against, to talk about a different league real quick, just for the fun of it. I'm going up against Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley, David Johnson, Tyler Lockett, Antonio Brown, Zach Ertz, Todd Gurley, and then Lamar Jackson. I'm projected to get beat by 20 points. I'm running...
Is this a redraft league?
Yes.
Holy cow, what a team.
There's off-season draft pick trading.
Got it. Yeah.
And
he traded Kamara for a first and a third.
He traded Kamara, who was a 10th round keeper in that league. And he got a first and a third round pick out of a guy. So out of Jared, actually.
Yeah. And did he trade away Hunt? I think he traded away Hunt before.
No, during the season. Hunt was his keeper.
Yeah, so he got Hunt in the third round, I think, but traded him away before all of this stuff took place.
Well, yeah.
So
have fun getting killed, Ben.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm going to. I've already accepted that I'm going to get second place. I almost. The commissioner
he conceded today on Slack, actually.
Yeah.
The concession speech has been posted.
Yeah, but I'll sue for a recount. Monday night. So
no one would have thought that the combination of Andrew Luck, Aaron Jones, Adam Thielen, and Adrian Peterson would have gotten less than like 12 or 13 points or something.
The last few weeks have been absolutely terrible. The studs that you rode with to the playoffs absolutely killed you. I mean, absolutely destroyed you. And then I think I saw a stat today. There was average scoring in the NFL. Week 15 was the lowest average scoring of the entire season.
Yep.
Worst possible time.
Hey, guess how many yards Thielen got last week?
19.
Yep.
2 catches, 19 yards.
I feel like this is just kind of the case of why it doesn't make sense. Because a lot of times in our league, especially, we're saying hey, don't trade with so-and-so because you're going to give them the championship, or you're going to give them the back-to-back. Don't trade with Phil. Don't trade with Phil. And
you can't know.
Right. And there's so much, like a week like this, Max's team should have gone off for much more than 60 points. There's a lot of teams that got screwed because Drew Brees and Michael Thomas played like crap, and a lot of other things where there's a lot of times where you can take advantage of someone that gets desperate trying to reach out and make a trade. I offered Jared 5 first-round picks plus Mike Evans and Chris Carson for Kamara and Galladay at the end of the season this year. And 2 firsts this year and 3 in 2020 for Evans. I think it was Carson, and then 5 firsts for Galladay and Kamara. And he turned me down because he said, if I do that, I'm giving you 2 years worth of championships guaranteed, which possible. But at the same time, I told him after the trade, after he said no, I said, that's fine. After the 2020 draft, I'm going to compile Evans plus whichever running back I offered, plus these 5 picks. I'm going to ask you if you still are happy that you turned down this trade.
Right.
And I think that it's things like that where I think it is maybe helpful for people to get away from that mindset of giving someone a championship where there's a lot of value to be had. There was years, I think the first year in the league, that Monty got a ton of value from, I don't remember if it was Adam or someone, because he was going for a championship, and Monty got ridiculed saying, you're going to give so-and-so the championship. You're going to give them the back-to-backs, when Monty got tons of value by doing that. So I think
back-to-back
is
it's
so
incredibly
tough.
difficult. It's incredibly difficult. You can't predict injuries. You can't predict, coaching changes. You can't predict. There's so many factors that go into these players being perennially good. They're always a year older the next year. When are they going to fall off the proverbial cliff? It's really hard to win 2 years in a row.
So tough.
It is. All right. So it is 9:00. It looks like we have 2 viewers. Let's get into the important stuff real quick. So me or Max, who do you guys have? I should win. I hope I win. Although Max could go off for 150 because he does have the players to do so.
Yeah, I'm taking Ben in this one. I think that Max has got some injuries that are piling up. I think with Aaron Jones going out, I think Ben takes this one. Got a nice solid floor there.
Well, I'll just play devil's advocate and say AP goes off for one more vintage AP game. I don't know. Probably not, but it could happen.
Hey, he scored 26 once this year, so could maybe do it again.
Yep.
All right. Fun stuff. All right. So this is the 4 guys who missed playoffs this year. So we are going to rip those up into different pieces. We're going to fold them up. I've got a lovely little red bowl here.
Nice. I think you need to buy one of those bingo machines with all the balls in it and assign everybody numbers.
Right.
Do it all official.
I like that.
That'd be a little bit more fun, maybe.
When you win the league 2 years in a row, you take the Empire pot and you buy one of those. I'll do it when I win 2 times 2.
Okay,
there we go.
Sounds good.
Or I'll just go up to the bar in town and borrow theirs.
There you go. Okay, so let's mix this up here.
So are we drawing 4-1 or 1-4?
1-4. Always 1-4.
I don't know. This is my first one.
Sorry. Well, you should look at the past Facebook posts and stuff then, because
I'm not a part of the Facebook group, Ben.
Oh, actually, I don't think we have a Facebook group. I think
How would I look at the Facebook group?
I don't know. I just did live last year. First pick of the draft is Jared. So I think that is a Zach pick.
I'm hopping in right now to double check, but I believe you're correct. No, Jared is Alex. Alex has the 101 this year.
Okay.
Nice. He needs the 101 through the 112 for the next 2 years.
Yeah. All right. Next pick in the draft is Zach. So Zach gets himself.
Zach. Yep.
And next one is Alex.
Which is also by Zach.
Yep. Which makes
that's
Adam the 4th.
So we got Alex picking at 1, and then Zach going with 2 and 3, and Alex rounding out that top 4, sandwiching that 101 with the 104. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
That 103 is for sale. I bet money on it.
I bet you 102 and 103 are for sale.
All right.
Yeah, I think 102 might cost too much. I think 103 would be a little easier to get.
Here's the others. Monty, Elijah, Jake, and Phil.
So 5 to 8 then.
Yep.
5 to 8. Yep. As always.
See, I pick up on things.
Yep.
Very observant.
You're a smart guy like that. So
very observant that way. Yep.
All right. Alrighty. And the 5th pick of the draft is Monty.
That is a Ben pick. Ben's got
That
the
is a
105.
Ben pick. Whoop, whoop.
I have a 2nd round pick.
And the next one is Elijah.
That's me with the 106.
And the 7th pick is
Don't pick me.
Uh-oh. Phil.
That's Alex.
And
Jared has my pick, I think.
He does.
Okay. And then it's Jake. So Jason, you wanna get those in order on
yeah, we'll put those numbers in on the Google sheet that everyone has access to. So we'll get those numbers in there for those first 8. So just to recap, we have, just to make sure that I've got it right, Ben, that we have Jared with the 101, correct?
Yep, let me hold on here.
Yep, Jared, Zach, Alex, Adam, right?
Yep.
And then Monty, Elijah, Phil, Jake.
Yep.
Got it.
Alex and 1.04. Adam 1.05 was Monty. 1.06 was who?
Elijah.
1.07 was not Jake, so that was Phil.
Phil and then Jake, yep.
1.08 is Jake.
It will be interesting to see, especially with Alex, but Zach as well, what they can do with a lot of those early first-round picks. I mean, Alex has the 1, the 4, and the 7. And I know it's not the same draft class as we've seen the last couple of years, especially in terms of running back depth, but there will be some,
especially there's talent in every draft.
There will be, and especially early in the draft, that they'll have their picks, whether they want to go wide receiver or running back, especially in those top 4, of taking those elite guys there. And we've seen people in the draft. I mean, a couple years ago, a guy who used to be in our league, Evan, got Zeke with the 101, and I think was a top 2 or 3 seed the following year. We saw a couple years ago, it was just 2 seasons ago, that we saw Max just took Barkley, right, and turned his team around. Jared didn't make the playoffs, but ended up with Hunt and Fournette and Kamara. I think that's the only one who he had the best draft in the history of the league, and still couldn't swing it. But we've seen the draft be able to turn teams around really quick, and so we joke and say that Alex has an absolutely atrocious, horrific team, but there's a chance that it doesn't take much to make a playoffs in an 8-team playoff with 12 guys. So
don't say that to Jared.
all it takes is not screwing those picks up.
That's right.
Which can happen pretty easily.
So Alex has the 1, the 4, the 7, and then 11 or 12. Not bad.
Yep.
He's got your pick.
Yep.
You need to win, so I have the 11 then.
Jason has
very important.
Jason's got my pick.
Yep.
So I want to win to give Jason a later pick as well. So
that's all right. The 6 and the 9 or 10 are already for sale. So people, we start talking anytime you want.
Yeah. Well, I have the 202 this year, so I'm pretty happy about
that's an important pick, the way I hear things. Isn't that the Kamara and Cortland Sutton pick?
Kamara, Cortland Sutton, Jordan Howard was that pick, I believe, in one of our first rookie draft.
All right.
So
Jordan Howard's terrible now.
he is now, but he had 2,000-yard seasons and was a top 15 running back for 2 years.
Oh yeah, no, he used to be good.
He did.
Yeah.
So Jared just commented on Slack, 2 years in a row, baby. Yeah, I suck. He's had the 1.01 2 years in a row, and he's traded that pick away both times. Last year he gave up Barkley last year for Seattle's defense. I don't know what he traded.
Defense.
He gave away
Cortland
Sutton. The Sutton defense this year, or Sutton to me for his 2019 and 2020 firsts.
Mm-hmm.
So he traded away the Jags defense and Cortland Sutton for Saquon Barkley and 2 firsts. Saquon Barkley, the 101 in 2019, and a first-round pick in 2020.
Poor Jared.
Oh man,
Jared, we love you though, man.
Well, the way that I wasn't in the league then, but the way that he explained it to me is it was really fluky that he didn't make the playoffs last year. Like obviously he had a pretty decent team with those 3 running backs, but like he had to win one game or had to have these weird things happen to not make it, and it all fell that way. Yes, it was a lot to give up for a defense, but in his mindset, his pick wasn't even a possibility at 101 last year. And I don't think that he thought his pick was possible at 101 this year either, with the team that he had and trading for Cortland Sutton, obviously. And mid-season when they traded DT, I think everybody kind of felt like, maybe that trade looks pretty good right now. But then Case Keenum is not good, so that doesn't help.
Yep.
Yeah, Jared has picked, I think, 102, 101, 101 the last 3 seasons has been his draft slot because he had Fournette in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he,
crazy stuff. But so league's gonna be done pretty soon here.
So
I don't know if we'll have a show next week at all or not. I guess if you guys want to, we can just do a quick recap of the year or something. But
so as a new person, what is the league will end after the championship, and then you said that after week 17, everybody gets their $160, and then the free agent pool is open.
No, free agent pool opens. I think it's second Wednesday in May.
Okay.
So you get your 160 for free auction dollars, so you can trade them.
Okay.
Yep. So you can trade them. You can do that.
So that opens.
Yep.
Second weekend in May, but then the draft isn't until August.
correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So, trading can start, after the championship and playoffs and stuff are over, and so that opens up again. But then, free agency doesn't open until May, and then, draft in August, and then go for it all again. So
it'll be fun.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Ben, you
That's
need
about it.
You need one of those bingo machines. Bowl is just not quite enough.
With every little crap thing in the rules and whatnot that we got to comb through, I think a bowl is fitting.
You would be disappointed if I wasn't bitching about something.
I agree. I would wonder what's going on. So, but no, I have a lot of fun doing this, guys. This is great. It's going to be a fun off season. After week 16 completes, you're going to get a couple guys, Monty, who are just going to go slack silent for the next 5 months and not talk to anybody. So, just kind of do what you want to do. Have a great off season. I don't know. Like I said, we may or may not have a show next week, but if we do, we'll see you then. If not, Jake, Jason, thanks for joining me every week, guys. I have fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think we'll still probably get together. It's a couple times at least during the off season to.
We got to talk about the draft.
We'll talk about draft, and I'm sure people will be making trades and looking forward towards all that fun stuff. So
yeah,
we have to talk about how Adam is going to trade away his good-looking team for next year.
That's right.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, you guys take care. Have a great night. Everybody else, we'll see you in a little bit. Take care.
Take care.